What's going on, Hoodie fam? Now, it's been a good, and I mean a good fucking minute since I've actually sat, taken the time, and dropped a build video. But I think this year we're gonna do that. This year we're gonna make it happen because I'm not gonna lie to you, there's a few things about this game that have made me kinda excited. I ain't gonna hold you. But as y'all can see from the title of this video, either we are going to be dropping what I'm technically calling my John Wall build, or I'm just going to be dropping my point guard build to start off the year. Because we're going to go with somewhat John Wall physicals. We're going to go with the height. We're going to go with the wingspan. But we're not going to go with the weight for specific reasons. Because if I was to try to go John Wall weight, I wouldn't be able to get that 91 speed with ball. And that 91 speed with ball is one of the main necessities that I'm trying to get with this build. And I think the best way we go about it is by just going minimum. I don't think it's going to kill me too much. At least I'm praying it's not going to kill me too much. So now, when it comes to making, regular builds, when it comes to actual players, if you've been making them throughout the last few years, you know that you kind of gotta. It's kind of give or take, or give and take when it comes to certain things. You can't essentially replicate some of these NBA players to a perfect sense when it comes to 2K, just because then you'd be making broken players, and the game quite literally just wouldn't allow that. So one of the things that I unfortunately have to sacrifice with this John Wall build is, despite John Wall debatably being one of the best, if not the best shot blocking point guard to ever play basketball, we will not have any block on this build. Or we will, but it's not going to be anything to a major event, because I've already done the stats. I already see how I want it, but we will not be having a major block to the point where it's probably going to be too impactful, because, obviously we're not going to get things like, the high flying denier, which is essentially chase down. You know what? Actually, now that y'all are here, now that we're here, we're going to try to tweak this on the fly. We're going to try to tweak this on the fly to see if we can get chased down. So to start it all off, with the physicals. Now, last year, you didn't actually have to OD your physicals to be able to do stuff, and this year they got rid of acceleration. So the things we're going to start with is speed and agility. I'm both going to put at 86. Agility essentially affects how you move off defense, things of that nature, and your first two steps when you get the ball, shit like that. And as far as speed, that is just your regular speed when it comes to you not having the ball. So it's not necessarily things that matter too much, but in the last game, we saw that you can manage just fine with a mediocre speed and less than mediocre agility / acceleration. But for first builds, I'm not going to really take too many chances. I'm going to try to play it somewhat safe. Obviously, later on in the year, maybe after patches, this build might be getting changed up. Things might change. Not even might. Things are going to change with 2K. They always patch. Y'all know how it is. So as far as strength, this isn't necessarily a stat that you're going to be needing too much on this build. So I only went with the 43. That's the way that, stats got maxed out. Honestly, it's probably going to change though, because with me going 6'10" wingspan, I wouldn't be surprised if certain things when it comes to this build's caps get changed up, and we have to fix everything on the fly. So to get small guard contact dunks, you did 75 vertical, and you need an 86 driving dunk. That is one of the few necessities that we need on this team. So just to start from the bottom, this is how our physicals are going to look like. Rebounding, we're not touching it at all. I mean, if some of it changes on its own in a bit, it does that, but we didn't touch rebounding at all. Another thing that I'm sacrificing on this John Wall build is that as far as rebounding, we can't necessarily get that. And then as far as speed, we cannot replicate my guy's speed without completely sacrificing some of the skill factors when it comes to 2K. So as far as defense, I'm going to tell you the thought process. So I went with an 83 for my perimeter defense, solely just because I wanted to get this silver pick dodger, and potentially if I really want to be able to upgrade stuff. With my later on stat caps, I can upgrade and, get on-ball menace, things like that. Or even if I really want to upgrade to other stuff, I can upgrade through further natures and go maybe like using my max +1 on pick dodger, max +1 on challenger, shit like that. But I probably won't go that route. I'm not going to lie to you, because there's a lot, and I mean there's a lot that you have to account for. But at least with the cap breakers, a lot of the things when it comes to some of these like early builds will be able to essentially rectify almost immediately, which is a good thing to me. I was kind of scared with the cap breakers at first. I thought the cap breakers were going to be making demigod builds off rips, But at the very least, we know that with our cap breakers, you're getting a cap breaker at starter 3, a cap breaker at veteran 2, and then a cap breaker at legend 1. So as far as vet 2 and legend 1, it's going to take a good little minute for you to get there, but starter 3, you should be able to get there relatively quickly. So as far as the steal, I decided to go to 91 just because I wanted to get that beautiful gold glove. And then if you really decide later on down the line that if you want to use some of your cap breakers to try to get up the Hall of Fame, or even you max +1 glove and you go for Hall of Fame, because I don't know how strong steals are because I haven't played the game just yet. This is just our first impressions. I've been in this builder for like an hour trying to figure out how the hell I want to make this build. And I think I finally got to a point where I actually really like what we came up with. Even though we're changing it up on the fly, I want to go 91 speed with ball. I really do. And I feel like if there's anything that I tweak later on in this build, it'll be this. But I'm going to start off with 91 speed with ball just so we can get lightning launch on Hall of Fame, which I'm believing is going to be relative to how quick first step used to work in the older 2K games. And the reason why I want to go 91 is just because I want to be able to get the Legend Lightning launch. If you don't care for that, then you can honestly drop this to anywhere from the 86 to 90 range. Really, is up to you. That saves you a lot of points if you were to go like 86 or something like that. But I'm personally going to go 91, at least for right now, while we're working on this build with each other, because I just want this badge. It's more reminiscent to John Wall. John Wall was one of the fastest players to ever play basketball. My favorite player to ever play basketball. And I'm really just hoping that that Legend Lightning Launch badge, like I could just imagine how beautiful it was, because even Hall of Fame quick first step in the older games was amazing. So we're gonna go with a 93 playmaking just so I can get gold playmaking badges. I would love to be able to get strong handles, but we're not going with the strength. So I'm sorry, that's one thing that we gotta sacrifice. And then as far as pass accuracy, I want to go 82. Main reason I want to go 82 is because at some point down the line, I want to be able to put cap breakers in this so that I can get the LeBron James pass style. Because I saw videos on some of the pass styles. And once again, LeBron James pass style at an 85 looks amazing. So why would I not take the chances on being able to get a LeBron James pass style at 85? If you can convince me why, I might listen to you. I might hear you out. But remember, at the end of the day, this is my build. This is how I want to make the build. Obviously, you can tweak it however you want. I honestly hope you probably do tweak it, because I know a lot of y'all are probably more comp than me, but it is what it is. We're gonna go straight up to finishing because I want to see if I can get these finishing stats in before I touch the shooting stats, because John Wall wasn't the greatest of shooters, and I added shooting to this build solely from a 2K aspect. I think what I'm going to do with this 86, though, is once I get to my first cap breaker little threshold, I'm going to put 1 into this one just so I can get that 87 for silver posterizer. And then close shot, it was a 74, but at least for right now, I'm going to leave it at 71. So as far as 3 ball, I just went with an 82 because I want to get limitless at some point on this build. Obviously, it's going to probably be a little bit difficult, but I mean, it is what it is. All it is just the one stat break. I mean, the one cap breaker into this, and then last but not least, the stats almost completely replicate, and they might even get better if you go 6'10" wingspan. Because I've managed to get every single stat that I had with the 6'9" wingspan, and in this situation, I have literally more points to put into different categories. And I don't think I messed up on anything. Obviously, my free throw in the other one was higher. I'm probably just going to up free throw because it's looking like realistically we don't have too many points to put elsewhere. I did not know it was going to bless me like that and let me go silver off rips. All right, it's blessing me and letting me go silver off rips. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get too much, layup action, even though that was another very, very integral part of John Wall. He has some of the best layups that the NBA's ever seen. Prime example, the 360 layup. If you've ever watched John Wall, y'all know what layup I'm talking about. But unfortunately, we're not going to be getting that. I'm thinking I'm liking how this one's looking a lot more than I'm liking how it looked with the 6'9" wingspan. So as far as your first threshold when it comes to the cap breakers, one thing that I had in mind of doing is I was going to put 2 stats into my mid range so I can get to a 91, because I've been hearing that Shifty Shooter is one of those badges like Agent 3s that activates on everything and is one of the better shooting badges in the game. So getting gold Shifty Shooter sounds like an absolute bet to me. And John Wall was cool with his midi. I'm going to try to be cool with the midi nonsense this year. So Shifty Shooter gold necessity. The third point for your first cap breaker is going to be going into your 3-point, which will give you bronze limitless. I'm not too sure how great it's going to be. I've been hearing that you can shoot deep without it, but I mean, honestly, I'm not the greatest of greatest shooters, but having builds that have the ability to shoot is almost always a necessity unless you are like extremely, and I mean extremely dominant in the paint. Now, the last 2 points, honestly, the last 2 points for your first cap breaker, you can really put those wherever you want because since I managed to get some of these thresholds that I wasn't really able to get the first time I ran through this build, I mean, it opens up a lot of room for you to do a lot of things. Like you could start getting or working towards, the pass accuracy situation to get the LeBron. Probably what I'm gonna do is I'll probably go 84 pass accuracy, so it'll be 84 pass accuracy, 83 3-point, and then a 91 mid range, all in that order. And then the next cap breaker set, we'll probably just go 1 pass accuracy, and then with the rest of those, you could probably go what, like 2 ball handling, and then I've just that quick, you have what, Hall of Fame freaking playmaking badges aside from unpluckable. I ain't gonna hold you, sounds like a bet. And then I'm not gonna forget that the first max +1 for your tier 1 badges has to be lightning launch. Here's where I get a little disappointed is when you go through and you're finishing making the build, I just gotta put one in what, I guess driving dunk. Yeah, driving dunk. You can stand it off a bit. The comparison sucks, bro. It's such a typical the last few 2K builds type of player names, bro. The shot creating 3-level threat. Like, I hate the name, I really do, but I feel like the build itself is gonna be fire, and that's why I'm sticking to it. I feel like the build's gonna be gas. This is gonna be my day one build, start the build for the year. I know I'm probably messing up some. I don't know where I'm doing it. I don't know where I'm doing it just yet, but I know I'm probably messing up somewhere. We're gonna be running it with my Washington Wizards. Obviously, if I'm making a John Wall build, I can't not go to the Wizards, right? No shot. The Wizards are an 80 set. All right, you know what? Hey, man. Like I said, we're going to the Wizards. We're making this John Wall build. Whether this ends up being a John Wall build and y'all see that on the thumbnail, or y'all just see that we created the best point guard build in the game, hey, either of the two, man. I don't even know which one is going to be titled yet, but I just know I'm ready to get in this game and get some grinding in, brother. First, I got to get in the lab because holy, I know there's a lot of new animations and a lot of shit that works completely different than it did in the last game. Your boy, yo, peace. I hope you enjoyed. If you make this build, tweak it to your liking. I'm saying that right now. If you make this build, tweak it to your liking before you put any money into it. All right, peace out.